All right. Good evening, everybody. Back again. This is proud to bring you game two of Disgruntled Veteran against Mr. James. He won the first round. My shadow player fell short. Kind of, I don't know, dropped the ball a little bit. Got to learn to pay attention to details. I run through the motions so often when playing this game. A lot of times it's very easy to overlook a small detail. So now I'm at free player. Again, I've got two tokens. James handled himself really well game one. I've got Wisdom of Elrond and Wizard Staff. I think Wizard Staff in base game is, unless you separate Aragorn early, it's next to worthless. I don't know. A good combat card in the rare event that it can ever be used. But Wisdom of Elrond. Okay, cool. Potential rush somebody to war. Let's see how we use it. Orcs multiplying again and Plantier of Orthanc. Two beautiful turn one cards. Orcs multiplying again for a strategy card would probably be my top preferred strategy card for Shadow turn one. And Plantier's good because it's almost always gets you a ring or it kills a Will of the West. And if I can trade a Plantier to play or a character die to play the Plantier to rob free of a will or a ring, especially a ring, hands down, I'd give him three character dice right on the first roll if I could have all three of the rings, right? No problem. So I've got it. All right, cool. Let's see how we go. So, yeah, I mean, free player definitely wants two movement against one eye, turn one. And James has four attacks. So I can see it right now. I mean, look at his hand. What is the. There's no 100% correct way. You can make the wrong decision every time and get lucky and win every time. But I saw this when I did the replay. I was like, he had no other choice. Sauron to war, orcs multiplying again, and just rush the dew line. Or Lorien maybe, but probably dew line. So let's see what he does. He is going to go, yeah, weird game, Sauron to war right off the bat. So I go ahead and do the preparatory move. I've got the northern regular here in Old Forest Road. Orcs multiplying again, great. So I pass. He's coming right at me. So now you'll see what I do. What would you do here? You've got Wisdom of Elrond to play it on the elves. I mean, yeah, it might keep Lorien. It might let you muster in Lorien. It isn't going to do anything for Woodland Realm. It'd be best to keep as a combat card if that's the case. I could use Confusion as a combat card against when he attacks Old Forest Road. Very possible. Or you might use Wisdom of Elrond on the north. And then if they attack Old Forest Road, that puts them one away from war. So this does a pretty interesting predicament in that I also have the muster tile. I don't know if I can use that advantageously this round, but let's just see what happens. I want to do it before I move. I want to go ahead and get the north down. Sorry, I broke train of thought. If I muster them with Wisdom of Elrond and they attack Old Forest Road, I'm one away. So if he attacks Dale, I can muster in Kurok. If he moves into Kurok, I can muster Dale. Obviously, he's going to attack Dale before Kurok because who cares if I have an elite in Kurok? It's nice, but all it is a little road bump. So I flip him over. Path of the Woes is worthless card right now. Attacks Old Forest Road, puts him down, gets his hit. I miss. So obviously, I don't want to use a token here, or I don't want to muster here. That'd be silly. Because he would just attack Dale. What would it do for me? So I'm going to go ahead and move. He misses, puts Woodland Realm under siege before attacking Dale, which is smart. So I move the elves. That I just actually manually move them down from the attack, and then I short up Erebor, and I move. If you look, I put this northern elite out here, so I know the North's going to be at war, and this is what I'm going to do. And I'm hoping James doesn't do it, but you'll see. What I want to do is let him attack. He's not going to take Karuk because that put me to war. I'm hoping that he just moves more forces around or attacks Woodland Realm, either way. And then I'll use my token to put the North at war and put an elite in Dale, and at least get some use out of Wisdom of Elrond and the northern, total pool here. But James, of course, sees the potential, and he's not going to let that happen. So he attacks Dale. What did I have? Sudden Strike. No, I'm not going to play that. He misses on them, and I miss back. And so obviously he has to take it out. So I reinforce Erebor. That's good. Get some help in there. North at war. All right, let's reload. Let's see what we got. Candles and New Power Rising. Set for Isengard and Saruman. If he can get the dice, I get We Prove the Swifter and Help Unlooked For. Truly underwhelming cards to start out with. I mean, again, I'm not going to play Wizard Staff. I want Gandalf to die. I don't want to keep the old guy around. So 4 eyes, right? Or allocates 1, rolls 3. So there's tons of potential here. I've got a muster, so yeah, of course I'd love to put maybe, I don't even know, put an elite in Kurok. It has some utility. It'll slow down his 5 regulars, and who knows, maybe he'll miss or only get 1 hit, and then I can just be a nuisance. I can just float around and maybe get another attack die. Force him to use another attack die to finish it off. I could also crown Aragorn this turn. Why move against 4 eyes? Bring it down. That guarantees my 5th dice. Because if not, I can move. I mean, I could move and then burn a ring if I need to make sure that I get my. 2 moves on 4 eyes. Surely I'll get hit, right? Sure. So I took a long time thinking about this one, and I realize he's gonna finish off Kurok. Otherwise, I'm in no rush for anything. I am going to put an elite in Kurok. Cool. So what does he do? He puts Kurok under fire. He attacks. That's what you do. You don't want to let that fester. If he doesn't attack there, if he does something else with that army die, I probably wouldn't muster again this turn, but I would muster again immediately next turn. So what does he do? He attacks Kurok. He gets 1 hit. I get a hit back. Cool. Good night. Now he presses. Definitely not going to fight to the death. And I could go to Old Forest Road, but why not go to... Where do I go? Let's see. Roscoble. And this sinister, wicked little thought comes in my head. I'm like, ooh, so he has 2... he has 2 wide open strongholds, 2 movements away. But unfortunately, he's got a muster die, so it's probably not going to work. So for me, I'm looking... I don't know. I'm looking at what we got, and I have to do it. So I don't move this turn. I go ahead and move Boromir and Aragorn, Strider, out. Like, I'm going to get my dice. I'm just going to take it slow. I'm not going to move against 4 eyes. I didn't want to anyway. And so James is a little surprised. I could have went with a more traditional game, moved, almost certainly got hit. And again, if I didn't, I can't play any cards with Gandalf's Palantir. I can now because I've separated, but if I was going to go with a kill Gandalf strategy, maybe I wanted to play a Palantir first. I would keep it in case I got hit with a reveal, like a 2R maybe. I don't know. Anyways, I didn't. So, yep. See, and part of my thinking right now is James is a really good player, and I'm not like afraid of playing him or anything like that. It's just that he got a really strong start. I got 1 movement turn 1, and maybe I move turn 2 and get Gandalf. Or I won't even get Gandalf this turn because James is not going to bring in a minion. Well, you'll see what happens, but I wasn't thinking he'd bring in a minion. I figured he would just maybe put Isengard down 1. So I wouldn't get it anyway. What does he do? He passes, so I play We Prove the Swifter, put the 2 companions in Dalamroth, and I draw House of Stewards. Excellent card. So that was kick-ass right there. Perfect card for what I just drew. And so here it is. Now, look at this. James has a muster die remaining. And I'm looking, and he has 2 open strongholds. So what does James do with his muster die? He brings the Witch King in. And I'm sitting here, and I'm really wanting him to muster in Dol Guldur and Mount Gundabad, because that makes this option easy for me. I'm like, okay, but I've got a Will of the West, and I've got Aragorn waiting for his crown, waiting for the Will of the West to hit. 4 dice. You don't roll Wills of the West all the time. You don't know. And so I've got this predicament. He puts the Witch King in play. So if I use my Will of the West to threaten both strongholds, as long as I'm willing to pay a ring, I've got a guaranteed 4 points next turn. So what could he do? And if he wanted to really risk it, he could move no matter what. Earliest possible way he could break one would be to move Karok to Eagle's Eye to Mount Gundabad. 1, 2, 3 attack dice to make that work. And that would just be if you have 4 regulars wanting to take on 1 elite. What are the odds you're going to roll 2 6s? I mean, that's not something you would normally try. If you want to bring Nazgul in, that's a 4th die. Or you can go after the regular, but then that adds 1 more die to it. What does James have in cards? Candles, lantern. So he has a great host. But this blows my mind. Why would you not muster? You must think that Aragorn's a sure thing. I don't know. It's we talked about it for a bit, but anyways, here we go. You got the Witch King in. So I put interesting in the comments. You know what? I don't want to get a 5th die and not even move turn 2. Woodland Realm's going to fall. Dale's fallen. Erebor is strong for now, but what cards do I have? Gondor is probably going to be fine for a while. Screw it. I'm going to do it. And he says, no, I'm out of the woods. And ask him, I said, can you take a stronghold in 1 turn? He says, of course I can. Or do I crown the king? So anyways, I'm doing it. I'm moving in. So there we are. I draw Eagles Are Coming and Red Arrow. Truly horrible cards for what I'm looking at. I mean, Red Arrow is a cool card. I like that one a lot. I try never to play that one as scouts. To me, Rohan's hard to get down mustard, and when you play it, it's a perfect card. Otherwise, House of the Stewards is fitting me now, but yeah, it's not that great. All right, so here I am. And what does he draw? Foul Thing from the Deep and Monsters Roused. Okay, good cards. So I do my little seance here, and just kidding, I'll do seances, but I put in the comments, sitting comfy, roll 4 eyes, please. So he says, even if I roll 4 eyes, I can still retake it. I'm like, all right, cool. I think, I hope. And look at this. He rolls 4 eyes, and he gets 1 attack. And so I'm just like grinning ear to ear. But here's the thing. I didn't really think that I would hold it. I figured, sure. I figured, he'd probably roll 1 or 2 eyes and do it. But who wouldn't do that? That is an excellent trade-off. I will trade off crowning Aragorn for 1 turn to force him to spend more realistically 4 dice just to retake a stronghold. And he has to do it. He can't put it off to another turn. Yeah, of course I would do it every time, 6 days a week. I mean, it's a given, because that pretty much kills his turn 3 and gives me, I burn a ring and an action die. That sucks, but I don't get a Will of the West, so no Aragorn, no Gandalf, none of that good stuff. So I don't even burn a ring. At this point, I'm seeing I've just won the game. I got it quick and easy here. Quick squeeze to satisfy my appetite. I could use a ring and save the other one, but why? That just gives him 2 attacks. Theoretically, the only way he could pull this off is, I think that's even possible, is if he had one of the Nazgul move cards and perhaps deadly spells, he could move Nazgul to Eagle's Eyrie and then play deadly spells and then move into Occupy it. James's gripe is the stupidest Roy's ever seen. I agree. It's totally ridiculous. But there's nothing he can do looking at his cards. James took a really long time to think, and I was almost worried he had a way to make it work. But and I told him I can never complain about luck ever again after that, even though I do. But whatever. But he doesn't have it. There's really nothing that can be done. So James he just floats it out. What do? I do Wizard Staff, because at this point, I figured even since I have separated the extra hit points, as I said earlier, this is one of the few times I will play Wizard Staff for effect. And what do I draw? It's there and back again. I mean, at this point, it's not a card that I'd probably play. So Monsters Roused. But what can he do? Nothing. And yep. And what do I do there and back again? Okay. I don't think he has a way of doing it, and I don't even know if this would possibly help. But I do have Heroic Death. Again, I don't even see why it's useful. But I go ahead and take the time to separate all my companions and put them in Mount Gunabad. I do have Eagles Are Coming. So if he was going to, if he had one of the Nazgul attack cards and he wanted to attack me with one dude, I don't even know how that would work. Yeah, it wouldn't work. I would play Eagles Are Coming and drive the Nazgul away. And that's it. So I'd get, what do I get? Horn of Gondor. He just moves his armies. I move. I get busted up. And, yep. Okay, so I mean, that was it. That's, turn 3, free player military victory. What do I think about it? I mean, yeah, it was a bad roll. Me calling 4 eyes in the chat and then rolling 4 eyes for the second time in a row. He rolled 3 the last turn, but it was 4 total. One allocated this turn. He didn't allocate any, and he rolled 4. Had he had a normal roll, let's say 3, 4 attacks, at least, yeah, he could have retaken a stronghold. But again, what would that cost him? It basically cost him a whole turn. How many troops out of here? What do you bring? Do you bring this whole force? Was he willing to expend? If he could get an attack and have one card to play, you would play Great Host. Nothing else you could risk. So, I mean, you're killing your most powerful muster card in the game, arguably, to kill that single regular. So I was definitely willing to give up Crowning Aragorn to have that chance. And yeah, so I mean, it was I took a little bit of risk. In hindsight, though, I would take that risk every time. If I can take a stronghold with no shadow forces nearby to retake it, yeah, I'm going to do it. If it's 2, especially. Yeah, 2 every time. So that's it. That's game 2. I just thought it was kind of a fascinating game. That is my first free player military victory this year. I've went for a few of them. Yeah, I had a couple of horror stories that didn't work out too well, despite super awesome odds in my favor. But anyway, well, I hope you enjoyed it. And game 3 will probably be in a few days, and I'll try to make a video of it. So thanks for watching, and yeah, appreciate your time. Have a good night.